I never imagined that one simple text could redefine an entire Christmas. It was early afternoon on December 24th, and my kitchen smelled of cinnamon, roasted turkey, and pine from the small tree I had insisted on dragging in from the yard. My parents had passed years ago, and my siblings lived scattered across the country, busy with their own lives. This year, I had promised myself it would be different. I would embrace the holiday spirit, even if it meant eating alone. Then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Are you celebrating alone?" I frowned. Who would text me like this? I considered ignoring it, but something in the tone felt gentle. Curious. Not threatening. Without really thinking, I typed back, "Yes. Would you like to join me for Christmas dinner?" The reply asked. I stared at my phone, heart pounding. There was a strange pull in those words, as if fate had reached out and tapped me on the shoulder. Normally, I would have dismissed it. Stranger danger had been drilled into me since childhood. But the thought of a warm home and a conversation, someone to share the holiday with, softened my resolve. "Okay," I typed. "You're welcome to come." A reply came instantly. "I'll be there at 6. "Thank you." 6 o'clock arrived. I was stirring gravy when the doorbell rang. My heart thumped so loudly I wondered if it would echo through the quiet house. I opened the door to find a man in his early 30s, bundled in a navy coat, scarf tucked neatly, hair slightly tousled. He looked like someone plucked out of a magazine for warmth, charm, and kind eyes. His cheeks were pink from the cold. "Hi," he said softly, holding out a small wrapped box. "I hope I'm not intruding." "Not at all," I said, stepping aside. "Come in. I wasn't expecting you, but I'm glad you came." He smiled a little shyly and entered. The box, he explained, was a gift for me, a tradition he said he kept every Christmas. He liked the mystery of sharing joy without knowing if the recipient would ever see it. We set the box aside and moved to the dining room, where the table was laid with the turkey, roasted vegetables, mashed potatoes, and homemade cranberry sauce. I poured 2 glasses of wine, my hands trembling slightly, nerves fluttering in a way I hadn't felt in years. Conversation started cautiously. He introduced himself as Daniel, a graphic designer who had recently moved to town. His voice was easy, and he laughed at my jokes before I had to explain them fully. Within minutes, the silence of my house felt alive, warm, and almost intoxicating. As we ate, I realized how lonely I had been, not just from family, but from truly connecting with someone. Daniel listened when I spoke about my childhood, about my parents, about my siblings and their distance. And then he shared stories of his own, his mother's cinnamon buns, the awkward family photos that he still kept tucked in a drawer, the Christmas train sets he loved as a child. Hours passed. The fire in the small hearth crackled and cast dancing shadows on the walls. The snow outside thickened, coating the trees and street in soft white. I felt a strange, unfamiliar contentment. This was Christmas. Not the kind filled with perfect family images or traditions, but something simpler, more real. After dinner, I finally handed Daniel the small wrapped box I had prepared for, well, I hadn't thought much beyond wrapping it. Inside was a handmade ornament, a tiny glass house filled with gold glitter. He looked at it, truly looked at it, and his smile deepened. "It's beautiful," he whispered. I wasn't expecting a gift. "I didn't expect you," I admitted. "But I'm glad you're here." Then he laughed softly, a little embarrassed. "Me too." The evening grew quiet, comfortable, almost intimate. We talked about everything and nothing, sharing childhood memories, hopes, regrets. Outside, the world was white and cold. Inside, warmth flowed between us in a way I didn't expect. At some point, Daniel picked up his gift for me and handed it back. "You're supposed to open it," he said. I laughed nervously and untied the ribbon. Inside was a small, leather-bound journal, engraved with my initials. I opened it, and on the first page, in neat handwriting, was a note. "Merry Christmas. May this year bring laughter, love, and adventure." I looked up at him. "Did you make this?" He shrugged, smiling shyly. "I wanted it to be meaningful. I figured, Maybe a stranger deserves a little magic too. I felt a warmth rise to my cheeks. This really is magic. The night continued, filled with quiet laughter and lingering glances. As the clock neared midnight, I realized that something profound had happened. Not a whirlwind romance, not fireworks, not the kind of story told in movies, but something more subtle and lasting. The kind of story that sneaks into your heart and refuses to leave. When Daniel finally left, stepping back into the snow-covered night, he paused. "Merry Christmas, Claire. Thank you for letting a stranger in." I smiled, realizing I had been thinking the same thing. "Merry Christmas, Daniel. Thank you for showing up." As the door closed, I felt the house settle into silence again. But it was different this time. The silence wasn't lonely. It was soft, content, full of the promise of something new. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew this would be a Christmas remembered not for tradition, gifts, or snow, but for the stranger who arrived and stayed in my heart longer than the night itself. That Christmas, I learned that sometimes opening your door to a stranger can open your heart to a lifetime. If you love romance, thriller, and revenge stories, you can please check my channel too.